We are ridiculously powerful in terms of tourism right now, and it's about to get absolutely ridiculous turbo. I've run out of words to even express how much tourism we are going to be making per turn once we get all that stuff online. Like, I can't even see my goddamn empire. That's like how many tiles are generating tourism pressure for me right now. Hey, Spuddies, PotatoMcWhiskey here, and welcome to Let's Play Civilization 6 Gathering Storm in the June update. Today we are going to be playing the Kongo. Let's go ahead and get the game set up. We are going to be playing as the Kongo on Deity, Ancient Era, Standard Game Speed, 12 City States, 2 Disaster Intensity, and Pangea map, and everything else will be standard. Now this is a start location that I can get used to. We are starting on a plains hill, which is perfect. The only thing I don't like about this is that we kind of lack any tiles with 2 production, 2 food. We do have some nearby. I'm tempted to move here to the right 1 tile because that would get me a very nice tile right here. However, it would move me kind of sideways on this elephant. And by moving to the right, I might block some more settlements later on this nice fresh water. I think though, for the sake of being able to work that 2 food, 2 production tile, we will swing to the right and I'll go ahead and start scouting to the southwest rather, because that's just the easy direction. First technology we'll be working on is animal husbandry, and we will of course get ourselves started on building a scout because we want to try to meet a couple of city-states early, and I have a sneaking suspicion that there might be some nearby, because there usually are when you're playing a game on Deity and you get an early scout. You can usually find them pretty well. I would be pretty happy if I found 1 or 2. If you get 1 or 2, you should be happy, especially if it's something like the militaristic city-states, which give you a ton of production towards your settlers. Amazingly, actually, Candy found me, although I can't actually see their unit, which is kind of hilarious, but I did actually manage to run into Candy, and they will give me faith, which is really nice because that +2 faith might be able to be translated into multiple things. For example, one of the things that we're going to be doing in this game is making great use of the incredibly overpowered Nikisi bonus here. This gives you a 50% boost to your great writer, great artist, great musician, and great merchant points. If we can get Divine Spark, which comes from the Pantheon, we can get a huge amount of great people points. The other alternative might be to get a free settler, but this is going to be what we're playing around. We're going to be trying to get as many great people as possible and fill out every single city with dozens of great works. Well, maybe not dozens, I may be exaggerating slightly there, but we'll try to get as many as we can. Looks like we found our very first tribal village. Let's go ahead and pick it up and see what it is. Oh, we got a boost towards military tradition. Also, this exact same turn, a barbarian encampment appeared right here. I'm going to go send my warrior to see if he can deal with it. Hopefully I can deal with it before the scout from this barbarian encampment scouts me and starts spawning units to cause me trouble. And there is that troublesome little scout who is moving generally in the direction of my cities. Now, one thing, I'm not going to scout to the east because the probability that I run into another city-state over here is relatively low. I'm going to try to scout in a direction that I haven't scouted. I have scouted a little bit to the south, so I'm going to look and see if there's any city-states up and around here, or maybe like in this sort of general area. And you can kind of do a bit of scouting. Oh, looks like we ran into another tribal village. Very nice. I'm going to be picking up a second warrior. This is a build that I've really come to love. You go scout into warrior. The extra warrior helps you keep you safe from barbarians in the early game, and then you can go into a monument and then into settlers, because the monument will allow you to get up to early empire faster, which gives you the extra production towards settlers. Granada ran into me while they were killing a scout over here, and we were actually the first person to meet Granada, which is huge because that's going to give us a massive +2 production to building units, including settlers and builders. That's something a lot of people might not know, but this production bonus actually applies to civilian units as well, because it just says producing units, not producing military units. Just finished animal husbandry and my second warrior. I'm going to send my second warrior to scout down around this way a little bit, and we're also going to go ahead and pick up a monument. And again, this is so that we can get early empire really fast and pump out as many settlers as possible, which is something you want to do when you're going for a culture victory. You want to get as many cities out as humanly possible. Looks like we found ourselves another tribal village, and we also, when I checked the settler mode, it looks like there might be a city over here. This could be another player. It's far enough away to be another player, but it also could be another city-state. I don't see any loyalty pressure, so I'm kind of guessing city-state at this point, but it could be either. Oh, nice! We got ourselves an envoy, a boost for political philosophy, and we met Leventa. We were not the first to meet Leventa, but I could plug in a envoy here. I'm not going to because I already have faith, and Kongo can't build holy sites, so I don't really have a whole lot of use for faith. It's actually one of the yields that Kongo really just does not care about at all. His faith is just not really particularly useful for them. We also managed to unlock ourselves a Pantheon. Now I think the two major choices I have here are to either go for Divine Spark or for religious settlements to be able to get out that extra settler a little bit quicker. I think because the Kongo already has a large amount of bonuses towards Great People Generation, I'm actually going to go ahead and swing in and take the extra settler here. The faster I can settle a city, the better, because I'll be able to get returns from that city much sooner. Plus, I have places I already want to settle. Up here, there's some nice horses. If I could get those online with a builder, I would be able to sell horses to the AI. I might even be able to produce horses, engage in an early war or something like that. So I think there's a lot of benefits here to picking up that really nice early settler. It is important to know, however, this is not a free settler. It will actually increase the cost of every settler that I build from now on. Another tribal village. Ooh, plus 20 horses. If I do meet another AI, I could sell those to them pretty easily. And my scout got a promotion. I'm going to go ahead and take the faster movement on hills because it looks like there's an awful lot of hills around here and not too much jungle or woods. We're going to plug in discipline and urban planning. These are the two best ones in the early game in my opinion. These ones are situational and sometimes you want to use them, but I like these two personally. Go ahead and settle our second city right here, and we get some era score because it's placed near a river that could flood. I'm going to go ahead and get straight away working on a builder because we want to get those horses online. We already have horses that we can sell to the AI, but getting a nice early builder in this city will do a lot of work for us, and I'll probably follow that up with a monument, hopefully getting hold of early empire sooner than we would otherwise. We ran into Wilhelmina. I wonder where she is on the map. Let's see if she wants to exchange information on capitals. She's all the way over here, so she's not really a threat to me in terms of boxing me in. I'm not seeing any real loyalty pressure, which is fantastic because it means we have lots of room. Oh, and we ran into Palenque, or Palenque. Why do I always run into this city-state? We also ran into Georgia, who is over here, so that's going to maybe want me to settle towards her, although this is all kind of awful desert terrain, so it might be a little bit lower priority, might settle along the coast here. But I do have that spare envoy from the tribal village that I picked up earlier. I'm going to plug that straight into Palenque, because that's going to allow me to unlock technology sooner, which will allow me to build more important things sooner, which is fantastic. Let's go ahead and clear out this barbarian encampment as well. We'll get 30 gold. No era score as far as I can tell, but we might have gotten one, and this guy is ready for a level up. Very nice. I was scouting down this way and I did spot some tiles that look like a civilization has settled nearby. However, a barbarian encampment just appeared over here, so I'm not going to be able to take time to actually find out who that was because I really need to get over here and prevent any negative outcomes from this, because if this scout goes straight to my city, I am deep in the doo-doo. I am tempted to pick up a slinger before I go for settlers, so I think I will do that. Unfortunately, the scout has spotted my city, which is really bad, but I do have him surrounded by units, so I think no matter where he runs, I should be able to catch him and do damage to him. If he runs here, I think he'll get caught by these two warriors. If he runs here, he'll get caught by the warriors. The only way he can really run is this way, and then my slinger will be able to get him. And of course, we'll go ahead and pick up ourselves a settler, because the most important thing is to get as many cities out as humanly possible. Oh, we managed to get ourselves a free builder from this tribal village. Fantastic. I might even send that up towards Mai to get these improved. I have no idea how to pronounce these city names, but if I can get this horses online and maybe even the wheat, not only will that give me 2 era score boosts in the form of horseback riding and irrigation, it'll make this city more productive, which means it'll get its monument faster, which means I will get early empire faster. As predicted, the scout went the silly way and is going to give me a free boost for archery. Perfect. Let's go ahead and get to work on cleaning out this barbarian encampment as well. Oh no, she's denouncing me because I forgot to send her a delegation. That's pretty bad. I should not really be forgetting to send delegations to AIs. However, she is really far away, so I'm not too worried about her, and I don't have any coastal cities, so her navy can't really do anything to me. And we'll go ahead and wipe out this barbarian encampment, pick up ourselves a little bit of era score and some gold, as well as another level on one of our warriors. Hello, Poland. Now, I have a sneaking suspicion, and yes, there they are. Poland is my neighbor, which is a little bit of a worry. We have also picked up bronze working, which means we have revealed iron. I would like to find iron if I could. Ah, man, what's with these games and me not really getting iron? There is some over here, but looks like I haven't really hit any iron in my local area. Let me just do quickly a quick search for it. And no, looks like all the city-states have the iron, which is really unfortunate. I was hoping that I would get some. However, we are going to want to try to be friends with Poland. So I'm going to send them a delegation, and I might even send them a gift of like 20 horses to see, although they don't really value it that much right now because it's very early in the game. I might, like, when I get a luxury, I might send them a gift. I could send them 100 gold right now, and that would really boost our relation with them to where they might not go negative relations with me next turn, which is really, really important because Poland can be a very aggressive neighbor, so we need to kind of be her friend. I think we're going to go ahead and try to settle forward towards Poland to try to block them off from forward settling me. I'm thinking this spot right here is a really, really nice spot. It is a grassland hill, which is not ideal to settle on. However, it only has a mild loyalty penalty, which means we should be able to get up a monument relatively easily without suffering too much of a loyalty problem. And if I settle a couple of extra cities in support, the loyalty problem here won't get too bad. Another barbarian encampment cleared, giving us 3 extra era score. We're only 6 away from a golden age, and we still have a decent amount of turns. If enough barbarian encampments appear, I might be able to actually snag a golden age, but it looks like this scout might be causing me an issue. We'll see about what we could pull off, but yeah, if we can get some cities settled. I also just unlocked Early Empire, which is actually a pretty big deal because now I can plug in the 50% production towards Settlers card and then get to work on unlocking state workforce, as well as plugging in the delightful Magnus into my capital. And I might do some chopping of this jungle depending on which jungles I plan to keep, although as the Congo, it could be a good idea to actually keep the jungle around because of the Mbanza Congo, as well as the fact that you can now build lumber mills on jungle tiles, so they're not completely worthless. So yeah, we might do some chopping, we might not. We'll kind of see and play it by ear. Let's go ahead and get this city settled, and it's actually -5 loyalty right here right now, which is a little bit scary, but we do get some era score from placing near a volcano. I think I'm gonna go ahead and actually purchase the monument in here and then go ahead and build myself a second slinger. I would like to get my hands on the trader in here. I also managed to cancel the monument here, so I'm gonna go ahead and plug in a trader in Mai. I still have no idea how to say this city, but yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get ourselves a trader so that we can trade with Poland to increase our relations with them. I did have to give Poland another gift to keep them happy because they got a little bit upset with me, but I'm hoping to keep them friendly and maybe we can get a friendship with them. Oh, we got a friendship with Poland. That's incredible. Okay, so we don't have to worry about Poland declaring war on me. So now I can play a little bit more aggressively, settle a little bit more aggressively, build up a small army to be able to defend myself and so on and so forth. So I'm feeling a little bit more confident now at this point in the game. We're going to be trading with Wrocław. I can't remember how to say it. Somebody told me how to say this name before and I've completely forgotten. But we're going to trade with Poland because they give me gold and science as well as boosting my currency technology. We are going to want commercial hubs, theater squares and campuses this game in order to win the game as efficiently as possible. In terms of wonders, I don't think we're really going to be building a whole lot of wonders, but yeah, we're going to be focusing purely on generating great people for a culture victory. Unfortunately, we did miss out on a golden age, but that's not a big deal. We'll go ahead and just pick up free inquiry because I find these are the easiest ways to get era score when you're going for any sort of non-religious game. Sometimes Exodus of the Evangelist is a good one to pick up, or Pen, Brush and Voice, but I think I generally have some good potential to get more of these era score boosts, so we'll go ahead and pick that up and hopefully prevent a dark age for the next era. Since we are in a new era, however, the price of horses will have gone up because I believe that the era of the game factors into the price the AI is willing to pay for certain strategic resources. So we're going to go ahead and sell these off to Poland in order to make a little bit of extra cash that I'll be able to turn into other useful things in my empire. I'm going to go ahead and buy this tile right over here to place my government plaza. It is a very nice tile in and of itself and it would have made a great farm triangle, but the logic here is that if I place a city here and these two cities work together, they'll be able to use this for their theater squares for extra adjacency, which will result in a higher culture per turn for me. Also, this city will just go ahead and just build a government plaza. I'm also going to go ahead and make sure that I plug in the second promotion for Magnus so that I don't lose population when I train settlers in my capital, which every time you lose a population actually kind of slows down how quickly the city can produce settlers because, you know, each population works a tile, right? And if you have less population, you work less tiles. This is pretty easy logic 101 kind of stuff, you know what I mean? What is up with Scythia being in every single one of my games recently? Get out of my game, Scythia, what the hell? She has a huge army. I'm going to have to be friends with her as well. First turn friendship? You already have horses, okay. Oh no. Hey, we found Patcha Cutie, the cutie. Patch Cootie, what's up, my friend? Welcome. That's actually pretty good that he's kind of far away from me. The only person I really have to worry about being friends with in this game, it looks like, is Poland. And then I'll be able to focus entirely on generating as much tourism as possible from my delicious, delicious land. It looks like I'm going to be able to get most of this area to myself. I got incredibly lucky with this starting location. I might even be able to plop a city in right here, build an aqueduct, get the city going, all that lovely, lovely stuff. There's even room for cities up here. There's room for city all throughout the desert. Man, we're going to be settling 4 days, which is why we're still settling in our capital. Normally, I would build the government plaza in my capital, but just because we have so much room, I'm going to go ahead and build it here as well, since the city's already having a loyalty problem. This will mean that we'll be able to get the building that maybe gives us extra builders whenever we settle a unit. Perhaps we will do that. Oh, it looks like the Incas are running into a little bit of a problem. Let's just turn around and go the other direction. You've got this, Inca. I believe in you. He's so fun. We have picked up political philosophy, which means we can go ahead and plug in Classical Republic, which is the classic SimCity version of the government styles in the early game. I mean, there are arguments to be made for oligarchy. It does have, or sorry, autocracy, because it has that really nice +1 to all yields in each government building and palace. But we're going to go ahead and plug in Classical Republic because it is just the default wonderful SimCity government. We have just unlocked the pyramids, and I'm tempted to go ahead and try to get them. So what I might do is swap this tile, buy this tile over here. If I buy this tile, I won't have enough money to place the pyramids and chop it out. Damn. Let's give it a go. Come on. We got the pyramids on turn 100 and something else in the other game. I will finish this settler, but let's go ahead and go for it. By the time we start actually working the pyramids, we should be able to plug in a builder and maybe chop a couple of these jungles. We'll have to pick carefully. I'll probably chop the hill jungles because they're the ones that are most likely to be turned into mines, which I think are better than jungle lumber mills. What's going on over here? Why are there barbarians in every direction that I go? Get a grip of Poland and Inca. Jesus. It's just getting worse. There's more. Oh, you want to do open borders? Let's do mutual open borders and a little bit of cash for me. And you also want some horses. I will take that deal. That is a pretty reasonable deal. What's going on here? Oh my God. Get me out of this crazy zone. Just finished up the government plaza, and because I'm going to go ahead and try to build the pyramids, that'll give me plenty of time to get the ancestral hall up while I'm also building the pyramid. So I think I am going to go ahead and try to do that. We do have another city to settle, and I'll probably settle along the coastline. I could even settle in the desert for a true meme. I might even settle up over here to get a hold of iron, because iron is pretty nice, because then I could upgrade my warriors into Ngao-Mbebas. I don't know how to say that properly, so I think we'll go ahead and swing up here. Although I do want to be careful about getting forward settled by Georgia over here in the west. Yeah, I think I'll go ahead and see if I can grab this iron up here. Just unlocked my theater squares, so I'm going to go ahead and start placing them. I think we're going to put a theater square on these two wheats, and then maybe commercial hubs in between them to provide a little bit of extra district adjacency. So I'll put this one right here. This city can't place it yet, and this city, I don't want to spend the gold, because I might even purchase a second builder in here to get this city going even more. And we'll go ahead and harvest this, and now we're only 9 turns away from getting the pyramids. If I could get the pyramids, that would actually be a pretty big deal, because I could use this for adjacency on my theater squares, as well as just generally being good. The pyramids is one of the best early game wonders in the entire game, so it's just a really good wonder to pick up because it makes your builders so much better. Looks like we're about to chop out the pyramids. Only 3 turns left on it. I think there's actually a pretty good chance that we could get this. I actually didn't even plug in the government cards. Just, I don't know why I didn't plug in the cards for extra production. Probably would have been a good idea, but I think we'll be able to snag this without too much of an issue. Time to do some food tile mathematics. We've got 2 food here, that balances itself. We've got a +1 here, we've got a 3, which means we've got a +1. We've got another 3 here, which is another +1, which means we can support 2 1-food tiles, and we're going to support these 2 1-food tiles, which means this one needs to be a 2-food tile. So you want the average amount of food that you're working on your tiles to be 2 food when you're growing your city. More is better, but you want it to be at least 2 food to hit like a regular growth curve. Less is bad. 2 food is perfectly fine. More is okay as well. But do not go below 2 food, because otherwise you will grow incredibly slowly, literally half as fast. I will grow in 20 turns instead of 11, which is an awful lot of turns. And there we have it. We've got ourselves the pyramids. Not only does this give us a free builder, it makes all of our builders have +1 builder charge. That includes builders we already had. So for example, this builder that I already used 2 build charges on has 2 builder charges. I should have actually waited on placing this mine a turn. I would have got an extra builder charge out of that builder. It would have been the right thing to do. I just kind of brain farted and completely forgot to do it, but it's not a really big deal. Amazingly, the Oracle is still up for grabs and I only just unlocked it. I think it's worth it to go for this just because it's so good. I'm going to go ahead and plop it right down here. I do lose a builder charge technically from doing this, but I can also chop a nice woods tile here. This is on a hill too, so I can always replace that with a mine. If I could get my hands on the Oracle, I would be completely set because this would give me so many great people points from a theater square. I should really technically be building settlers right now, but this is just such a great opportunity that I have to go for the Oracle. I just became suzerain of Kandy, which is actually a huge deal because I'm playing as the Kongo. If I can get some scouts out while I'm suzerain of them and get some relics, we get a huge amount of benefits from getting relics. And since Kandy gives you a relic every time you discover a national wonder, this could be a huge deal for propelling our game into overpowered ridiculousness. I might have to try to find a way to get a couple of scouts and see if I can get a little bit more information about the world, maybe find a natural wonder or two. I think I've found a couple already, but finding more would be a huge boon to our empire. Looks like we did lose the Oracle. It's not a big deal. I didn't waste any of these chops, and now I can convert all that production into settlers, which is just as equally valid a use of that production. Yes, we found the Lysefjord, and we get ourselves a relic which goes straight into our capital city, giving us 2 food, 2 production, 4 gold, 6 faith, and 8 tourism. That is nuts, dude. That is so good. Oh man, there's potentially like 3 to 4, maybe 5 other relics sitting out there in the form of natural wonders that we could find. So powerful. I'm so happy that I put Amani in Kandy and got suzerainty of her. City-state? I don't know. The world enters into the medieval era, and we're going to go ahead and pick up free inquiry once again. This is another normal age. That's perfectly fine. I don't mind getting normal ages. We will, of course, be picking up a few more of these. Normal ages I'm perfectly happy with. But yeah, we're in a new era, and we're going to go ahead and try and not get this slinger killed, ideally. There's a nice floods going on here that completely obliterated my government plaza, which is very annoying because I'm going to have to try to fix that now. And it needs to be done before this settler gets in position, or I don't think I actually get the benefits from it, which kind of sucks. Man, god damn it. The World Congress has banned great writers, which is really bad because for 30 turns I'm not going to get any benefit from my ability to get incredible amounts of great writers. That really sucks. And we didn't even lose by that much, but these guys just all voted against great writers for some reason. Looks like there is also a military emergency up for discussion on Poland, because Poland has been doing some very naughty things with regards to war, as far as I can tell. But I think nothing shall come of this, and we're going to go ahead and try to keep exploring with our slinger over here. We also grabbed ourselves a horseman, because I wanted to send them up this way to see if I could swing through Georgia, make friends with Georgia, get open borders and all that jazz, and see if I could find some more natural wonders to take advantage of Kandy's relic bonus. Oh, I met Jayavarman, and apparently Poland has completely murdered Jayavarman. That actually makes the game a little bit harder to win, which is kind of annoying. And the reason it makes the game harder to win is because how much tourism you need to generate domestic tourists is based on how many civs there are. And if I have one less civ that I'm generating pressure against, that makes the game slightly harder for me to win through tourism. Yeah, bit of a conundrum, but I'm sure we'll be able to make it through. Because we built a theater square with the religion of Catholicism, we actually got ourselves an apostle that we might be able to get. Nope, nothing too interesting. We will be able to spread the religion to ourselves, however. And let's take a look and see what Catholicism does for us. Well, it actually gives us a way to spend our faith, which isn't so bad, but really nothing too crazy. I'd be maybe more interested in seeing if I could get Eastern Orthodoxy, if that has better beliefs. Nope. Both of them are pretty bad, but I will spread my religion a little bit, purely as well because it'll make me friendlier with Poland, which is always nice because they look like they're killing people, and in fact they have already killed someone. I've got a little bit of a problem now. I'm starting to have a border with Georgia, and she's got military units in the area, so I'm going to go ahead and send her a gift to try and make her a little bit happier. That is not Georgia. This is Georgia. I'm going to send Georgia a gift of a free elephant to try and improve her relation with me so that she's not so upset at me, and hopefully that will mean she'll be more than happy to take like delegation and perhaps even a friendship or an alliance. I am working on the ability to get alliances right now so that I can get an alliance with Poland, maybe make a bunch of money, all that sort of stuff. You've got to be kidding me, dude. I walked all the way around this mountain only to find barbarians up here and then a goddamn dead end. Oh, now there's a unit blocking my way. I swear to God, between the writers getting banned and all this other stuff that's happened in this game, I feel like the game is really trying to screw me this time because I got so lucky last time. Another natural wonder relic? Yes, baby, we're up to 2 now. That is so damn good. Look at that. 4 food, 4 production, 8 gold, 12 faith, and 16 tourism from 2 relics. We can fit up to 5 relics in this baby. Excellent. This horseman has definitely paid off. I did purchase this horseman. It did cost me like 300 gold, and I got it specifically to try and find natural wonders like Mount Vesuvius over here in this section of the map, and it is definitely paying off, which is awesome. Got ourselves our very first great person. It is a great merchant, which, you know, is not exactly the kind of great people that we're super interested in. However, he is quite good because he will provide us with a nice chunk of gold and an extra envoy, which is always handy if we find a city-state that we really want to get suzerainty of. We can always make use of things like Granada and La Venta later on in the game, but for now I think we're going to be just fine holding on to these until we see something that we really need. Hey, if you guys want to know whether or not the AI wants to kill you, if they're parking units outside your capital, it's usually a good sign that they're looking to murder you. So it might be a good idea for me to get walls in here in the 3 turns that I can get them. In fact, I'm going to go as far as to unlock this for 1 gold, get rid of that, plug in the limes card because I need those walls up. Oh no. Okay, thank goodness. So I built some walls, which I think got rid of the penalty for her not being happy about me having walls, which increased the relations between us enough to where she was willing to accept my friendship. And I think that's actually really good because now I can get some sort of either cultural or maybe religious. If I get a cultural alliance with her, I might be able to forward settle her pretty aggressively, which could be pretty damn cool. Although I think, do we have to wait? No, we can do it right now. So we could even forward settle her as far as over here, for example, near this geothermal, which is a pretty neat idea because it's actually a nice campus in there that we might be able to make use of. Got our apostle killed and grabbed ourselves another relic. BEA, beautiful. Look at that. 6 food and production, 12 gold, 18 faith, and 24 lovely tourism. Brilliant. I'm going to be so glad when this session is gone because this entire time I have been getting 0 great writer points when I've built theater squares in like most of my cities. It's been so frustrating, but that time has almost passed. We will soon start getting great writers and actually start generating some tourism. The funny thing is the fastest I ever won a game, I had already basically won at this point. So this is already a bit of a struggle of a game just because of the circumstances that the AI put me into. I would have played this very differently if that had not triggered. Just go ahead and vote for myself twice. Usually you only have to vote for yourself with 2 votes in order to grab this one. And this one I don't really care about. So I might just go ahead and vote like Catholicism twice so that I can like pillage Poland's missionaries for diplomatic favor that I can sell to the AI for gold. That would be kind of fun if that was how that worked. Okay, George is happy that I'm building walls and Catholicism was chosen. Excellent. So I should be able to pillage Poland's religious units for diplomatic favor. Excellent. And only putting 2 votes on myself managed to win. At long last, 123 turns into the game, we finally get our first great writer. And the reason we're only getting it now is because we got cock-blocked by the AI. I just want to point out, again, I'm pretty sure the fastest I ever won was in like 126 turns or something. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm getting my very first writer on 123. This is really bad. This is not going well. Oh no. Oh god. Got ourselves a commercial hub with a starting adjacency of 4 or higher, netting ourselves a cool 3 era score. Lovely. We've also just unlocked guilds, which most importantly gives us access to the Mbanza. Now I might build Chichen Itza here because I love me some chicken pizza. There are a few other of these guys laying around that I could maybe go for. I would like to get the Mausoleum. If I could get Petra, that would be incredible. If I could get the Terracotta Army, that would be cool. I want to try and build some wonders if I can, because those are good sources of like passive income. I'm going to go ahead and try my damnedest to get this Chichen Itza. So that means I'm going to have to try to retool my government a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and keep limes in later. For now, what I'm going to do is find that nice... Where is the... Oh, it's ancient and classical. It doesn't fit in. Damn. Yeah, I guess I need to get one of these, I think it is. Yeah, I need to go ahead and pick up Divine Right so that I can plug in Gothic architecture, which will allow me to get Renaissance, Classical, Medieval, and Ancient Era wonders at 15% speed. So that's what we'll go ahead. We'll go ahead and pick up Monarchy. It does kind of synergize with Culture Victory for reasons I'll talk about in a little bit, thanks to the housing per level of wall. Let's get ourselves an Mbanza here. This gives us 5 housing as well as 2 food and 4 gold, which means we'll be able to grow some pretty damn huge cities. Although we do have to worry about the AI causing rebellions inside our cities. It could be a bit problematic. Finally finished our second great work of writing, which I'm very happy about. We're actually finally starting to generate some tourism. It might be worth it to pick up printing after this to make our great works of writing yield more tourism. And we also might want to start looking at some governor promotions. I haven't really been spending my governor promotions, very actively. I would like to get grants, and I think now that I'm basically done settling, it's time to pull Magnus out of the capital, plug Pingala in there so that I can get more advantage from the ability of his to generate culture and science per population, and maybe just assign Magnus somewhere random where I might do some chopping. Find ourselves in another normal age heading into the Renaissance era. Been a bit of a slow game up to this point, but I expect things will start picking up now that we're in the Renaissance era. I'm going to go ahead and take Reform the Coinage because I do have some trade routes out there and I don't think I'm really going to get any meaningful. Actually, Monumentality would be pretty good because I am building a lot of districts around the area. So I think Monumentality is going to net me the most era score. Also got my very first artist here, and we're not too far away from picking up art museums. Most importantly, that this artist also produces sculptures which actually work for Kongo's special benefit here, because the bonus production from these things applies to relics, artifacts, and sculptures, which is pretty damn nice because that's going to fill that up, and then I won't actually need to get any more relics. Just picked up Divine Right, which is nice. And the reason that this works really well with a tourism victory is because you tend to build a lot of walls if you're going into a late game tourism victory, because you get a lot of tourism from those walls. So this gives you a lot of extra housing, especially as the Congo, who has a really easy time building really, really tall cities. I'm going to plug in the usual things: wall production, bastions, and retainers. Conscription can replace bastions if you're not under threat of being attacked, which we are not. So conscription fits in there nicely. I am going to keep serfdom, and I could very easily plug in urban planning. However, at the moment we are building a wonder, the Chichen Itza, and also the Mausoleum of Halicarnassus. So I do want to plug in Gothic architecture, and I also want to see if I can build a few more wonders to be able to pick up that little bit of extra tourism. My civilization has become the largest in the world, with at least 3 more cities than its next biggest rival. So we are truly, truly the largest civ in the world, which I could definitely believe. We got very lucky this game with this huge swath of land all to ourselves. But yeah, some of the land is of a little bit lower quality. That's not such a big deal. I would say Kinshasa is my only really bad city. Mpinda is kind of workable, but Kinshasa is pretty terrible. We'll have to do a lot of work to build that up. Look at this absolutely beautiful +6 campus over here in Nakondo. This city was worth settling for that alone. Looks like we found Crater Lake. I don't think I actually get a relic this time because I don't have any room for it, which kind of sucks because I managed to fill this up. Oh, I need to get rid of the Sistine Chapel. Oh no, I could have had that relic. Oh, I made a big doo-doo mistake because the Sistine Chapel isn't one that I want to keep because it's a religious work of art and I wanted to make room for the sculpture. Either way, next turn I'll be able to get it. Yes, look at this. We managed to fill it up with sculptures and relics, and now we're getting 10 food, 10 production, 20 gold, 4 culture, 18 faith, and 27 tourism. 27 tourism. That's insanity. And we are going to be filling this city with Mbanzas and building essentially the worldwide metropolis, because that is the meme strategy this game. Why, of course we shall send aid to Tamar. That seems like a perfectly wonderful thing to do to get the AI to waste all of their production on sending these aid requests. Finally, we got our second great rider, and one trick: if you don't want to move your riders around, just move the great works around and then just use the same district over and over again. It doesn't really work with artists because there's a cooldown with moving great works of art, but it works really, really well for great riders. I think it's a pretty reasonable goal this game to try to earn so many great people points in the great riders, artists and musician points that no other civilization gets one of them. So far I think we can actually do it because I am making 15 great rider points per turn and the next best person is making 2. I have completed my unique district of the Mbanza for the first time and got myself a tasty 4 era score. There's something really satisfying about setting up these wonderful farm triangles. Look at them. They can just feed a city so much. Actually, I kind of need to get myself an Mbanza in here. I also need to build my tier 2 government building, but I'm going to go ahead and grab the Mbanza after that because I really want to try to increase the housing in here so that I can get more population. This might just be the most ambitious Petra I have ever attempted in my life. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to pull this off. I do have the Gothic architecture card plugged in, so that's going to help. I really don't know how the hell I'm going to get this done though, because I have no way to chop or anything like that. You know what I could do actually? I could move Magnus over to Kinshasa and then maybe chop these forests nearby? Maybe that'll actually work. Since we are so close to picking up conservation, it's about time that we go through all of our cities and start building up walls. The exception will be any cities that are building wonders, like Bukavu, that's building the Angkor Wat, my capital, that's building Chichen Itza, and the Petra building city of Kinshasa, because we need to get those walls up before we unlock civil engineering. Because if you look down here in the makes obsolete area, it says it makes the policy limes obsolete, and limes is what gives you 100% production towards defensive buildings. So this is like a really nice timing that I like to use in my games, because conservation unlocks all the tourism from the walls, and then immediately afterwards you unlock civil engineering. So you start getting the tourism, and then the policy card for building walls goes obsolete on basically around about the same time in the game. So you get the maximum value from those two policies as you can possibly get. Baby, we just picked up chicken pizza. Chicken pizza is my favorite. And look at these beautiful yields. And most importantly, I actually have the goal to get myself a builder and start slapping down some lumber mills on these tiles. So these yields are gonna start getting pretty damn wild. Hey, we met the very last civilization in the game, Alexander, and that's really good that we met him, because now we're generating tourism pressure against him, and you can see I already have 3 out of 68 visiting tourists, and that's going to start accelerating as I get more and more great writers and all that sort of jazz. So we're getting there. Now that we've met everyone, we're generating tourism pressure against everyone. We need to direct our tourism pressure, I think, against Alexander, because I think he has the most culture in the game, which is going to get a little bit complicated in the late game, but we'll talk about that. We'll cross that bridge when it comes. Yes, the very first Chichen Itza chicken pizza lumber mill jungle tile is online, valued at 2 food, 4 production, and 2 culture. Just wait until I get myself a zoo online in the capital, which I can actually build here pretty damn soon, and we will be building it, and we'll be even getting science from these bad boys. Just grabbed our very first great musician. Not much use for him right now, but we will find a great use for him later on in the game. Now we're up to 6 great works of writing, giving us a nice chunk of tourism. It's not quite enough to be gaining a huge amount of tourists. We're up to 5 right now, which isn't too bad. The big problem is that Alexander has a really strong culture game going right now, which is going to be a bit of a problem for us to overcome. We will be able to overcome it. Ooh, this is actually a great opportunity for us. I'm going to go ahead and plug in 100% production to city center buildings. This is going to make it so that we can build walls really fast, and I'm more than happy to invest like 100 diplomatic power into this, because if I can get this to pass, I'll be able to build my walls at triple the normal speed, which is pure insanity. Yes, looks like it passed with flying colors. In fact, it probably would have passed without me having to plug so many votes into it, but sometimes the AI votes for other stuff, so I was a little bit more comfortable just throwing a few votes in there to secure it. I could probably have only thrown 1 in. I have seen sometimes at critical moments where I really need that, they vote for like campuses or something, and I really need that production right now. Look at this. We're producing 15 production in here, and we're producing a 300 production building in 5 turns. Think about that. That is insanity. Grabbed ourselves another delightful little great artist. It is a religious great artist, which I'm not super huge on, but I think it is worth it here to spend the money to buy the amphitheater and then purchase the art museum to plug in this great artist and get him earning us some points right now. Unfortunately, we do miss out on the very nice Angkor Wat. However, we can transition this into something else like Taj Mahal or Hermitage, but I am going to go ahead and decide to get the walls first, although I might slap down an industrial zone in here because I don't have any yet. I'm not really sure if that's what I want to do. I would like to get one of these districts like instantaneously. That would be pretty cool. I think we'll just go ahead and throw down a theater square and quickly get that online. I can't believe I'm actually going to get this Petra. I have 150 production about left, and this shop is worth about 121 production multiplied by 15%. This should just about finish it. We're only one turn away from the Petra. Okay, please, for the love of God, do not one turn me on this Petra. Petra is a brilliant display of man's artistry in turning barren rock into majestic wonder. Oh yes, look at this absolutely beautiful Petra that we just picked up. Look at these tiles, dude. Oh, this is like thumbnail worthy. Look how beautiful this is. And this isn't even the final form of the city. There's so much more growing that we can do in here. Wonderful. We just picked up printing, which doubles all of the tourism yields from our great works of writing. They're not quite as powerful as they were in the past, but they're still doing the job of generating us a decent amount of tourists. Right now we still only have 5, but over time we will generate more. Just a quick tip for people who are getting these kinds of demands in game. If you accept these, the AI will actually get more angry at you than if you refuse. So never accept demands, because for some whatever quirk of how the relationship thing works, if I accept this, they're gonna hate me more, right? Because I don't know why it is. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, see here, they think I made a demand of them. So never ever accept demands of the AI, because it's the easiest way to completely cripple your relations with them for the rest of the game. Look at these yields. The ivory, 3 food, 4 production, 2 gold, 2 culture, 1 science. Look at these yields, dude. This isn't even my final form. We're only just getting to the really overpowered part. Oh man, look at this. It's beautiful. Look at all this science, culture, production. The city is making 67 production per turn. Holy shit. And we grab the Mausoleum at Halicarnassus. This is incredible for one very particular reason. Some of the great people that we want in this game are great engineers who will give us production towards wonders. That's why I'm actually building a industrial zone over here, so I can start generating a whole bunch of great engineer points over here, because there are particular great engineers. For example, Alvar Alto, that gives appeal to your tiles, and you can generate tourism from appeal. Charles Coria also gives you appeal. There's lots of these great engineers. Filippo Brunicelli, if I get extra charges of him, that's what Mausoleum Halicarnassus does, by the way. It gives you extra charges on your great engineers and your great admirals, so I'll be able to turbo fast build wonders, and 2 really, really important wonders here are the Eiffel Tower and the Cristo Redentor. I just want to point out that there is like a huge, massive political religious brawl, like WWF, World Wrestling Federation of the religious level, happening inside my borders right now. Basically every religion in the game is treating my country as a battle zone. Apparently I was the only one who voted in favor of this aid request, and I gave her no aid, so I got no diplomatic points or victory points. Alexander, I heard you're in need of diplomatic favor. Why don't you give me like almost all of your gold? Thank you so much, Alexander, for being such a good trading partner. Ooh, yes, we're going to grab another great artist. This one is going to make me a whole bunch of sculptures. That's going to be really, really valuable. I need to save up the money or get an art museum somewhere. It looks like I'm building an art museum up here in Kongo, so I'll go ahead and get this guy in position. Yes, we have entered into the industrial era, and we entered into the industrial era in a golden age, which is really, really nice because we have some really cool options here. We can pick up Reform the Coinage for a whole host of benefits, namely a whole ton of gold when we're trading internationally, which is what we want to do when we're going for a culture game, because trading with an ally gives you a bonus towards your tourism pressure against that ally. So that's really, really nice. Heartbeat of Steam can be really good when you're going for a science victory. We're not doing that, so we're going to go take Reform the Coinage, which is going to give us even more gold. Right now I'm not trading internationally, so it didn't really change anything, but over the coming turns, when I manage to grab myself a little bit more stuff, I will be able to do that. Our very first spy is now online. Let's go ahead and park him over in Macedon. Wait, have I not met a Macedonian? Ah, there it is. I want to go park him in Macedon. I actually need to go explore Macedon. Let's go ahead and grab this little slinger that I've been using to explore. I need to find a Macedonian city that I can use to steal gold from the Macedonians, because they have an absolutely outrageous gold income right now that I need to be getting a slice of. Not only that, but we're going to go ahead and pick up our very first archaeologist on this turn as well, which we can start getting some of those delightful archaeological great works. A +2 theatre square, don't mind if I do. Right beside the mausoleum. Beautiful. It's going to give us a lot of tourism, or rather culture, and then we can translate that into tourism in the form of great works. Some more great works of writing filling up our great works area. We are going to have to build quite a few more amphitheaters. I've been kind of holding off on them because of the whole great writer block and stuff like that, and I've been working on some other critical infrastructure like walls, which I'm getting tourism from, but we are going to have to start cranking out those amphitheaters in a lot of these cities soon. Apparently Wilhelmina did not take kindly to how I was doing things and has declared war on me, which I'm pretty sure means she's at war with like the two great superpowers in this game, Georgia and Poland, although I guess you could include Alexander and Scythia in there. But yeah, good luck. Got ourselves another sculpture, which is giving us 2 food, 2 production, 4 gold, 3 culture, and 2 tourism in the city of Kongo. How could anyone compete with this kind of output from great works? No, a dust storm. It killed my mines, dude. Come on. Give me a break. Ooh, a delightful little broadsheet for my collection of artifacts. Very nice. We've got 2 from Jadwiga. I would like to get some more diverse, as in from different civilizations, all that sort of jazz, so that I can get some theming bonuses going. I might have been wrong about Georgia being a superpower, because it looks like the war isn't going so well, because this used to be a Georgian city and now it's a Dutch city. So perhaps the Netherlands has a stronger army than I gave them credit for. Why, yes, I will trade my diplomatic money points for pigs. No, actually, it's truffles, not pigs. This is the picture of a pig. The truffles is the actual luxury. Got it. Hey, check it out. We're up to 19 foreign tourists visiting our nation. Just need to get some more tourism per turn. Hoping to end the game at about 1,000 to 2,000, kind of that range. It kind of is a bit of that kind of a thing where you never really know how much you're going to end up with. I spy with my little eye the perfect spot for a national park. Let's see if we can nab all those tiles. Oh no, I need a little bit more gold. Let me trade for some. All right, we picked up some gold off the Incas. Let's go ahead and purchase this. So now we can put a national park in here. Let's go ahead and grab ourselves a naturalist. Look at that. That is going to be a very nice national park. I will take a Jayavarman relic, and I think that is the last relic for that archaeological museum, which brings us up to 6, 6, 12, 9, and 9 for all of these wonderful yields. Look at that, dude. That's crazy. Another great work joins the collection. We are starting to get quite a good amount. We are still missing quite a few. I do have some archaeologists on the way. I think I have one making their way over here somewhere. There you are. And I think, God, where is that other one? I think I need to get another one out. That's right, it was over here in Mabuji Mai. I need to get this archaeologist up. I think I'll wait until I have the gold, because I'm making about 500 gold per turn, by the way. This is the power of selling your diplomatic favor. Like 300 of this gold is coming from trade deals with the AI. The very first national park of the Congolese Empire is about to be plopped down, and look at that absolutely beautiful tourism yield. We are getting 16 tourism per turn from a single national park, and it's not even at its final power level. Oh my god, look at this colossal head. It's worth 5 faith. And don't forget, all that faith can be converted into tourism once we research flight. That's really damn powerful. We are going to go ahead and pick up steel first, but I'll probably be making my way straight to flight right after that. Ooh, this could be a really good opportunity to get a boost towards building our theater square districts. I'm going to go ahead and plug 2 diplomatic favor in. I didn't save any for this World Congress. I didn't think this would come up, and I thought the money would be more useful. We will plug in that, and I guess we'll boost melee units. I'm really hoping that I get theater squares boosted. Come on, man. City centers again. That's unfortunate, but you know, you live with what you live with. It looks like the only person we can really make money off of is the Incas, because they seem to be the only one who's actually built commercial hubs that we can steal from, and I'm pretty sure stealing from the capital is the right place to do it, because they're making about 350 gold from a steal there. So we'll send our spy over there to start stealing from the Inca. Also going to go ahead and plug in the curator promotion into Pingala so that we can go ahead and get a whole bunch of extra tourism from all the great works that we plan to store in our capital, especially with the Hermitage that's coming up. We're getting a very nice amount of tourism from this city now. Let's go ahead and plug in Grand Opera instead of Wisselbanken. This extra culture is going to be very, very important for getting the late game policy cards that are going to enable us to get a lot of tourism. Another artifact for my collection. I'm going to take a patch of Cutie the Cutie artifact right here, and look at it. Look at my themed museum starting to take form. I will be having to shift these around, but man, look at all these yields, man. Beautiful. Hey, we built our very first campus with a starting adjacency of 3 or higher and nabbed ourselves an extra 3 era score. Actually, this campus had a +6 adjacency. Oh no, it was a different campus. Maybe it was one down here somewhere? I can't remember which. It was one in Bukavu. That's very nice. Nice little boost for our empire. I will go ahead and pick up this commercial hub for the extra trade route though. Oh god, a catastrophic eruption. Oh man. I was kind of waiting for this to happen, but I was not ready for it. It has done so much damage to the local area. It's not that bad, but definitely has killed a couple of farms in here. We should be able to replace them without too much worry. Just kind of sucks that it happened right now. We will, of course, grab the Archaeologist in Mbujimai, which we will use to maybe send to the west here to pick up some of these nice artifacts that are hanging around. There is Urbanization with a very key policy card here for us. Because we built Renaissance walls in every city, we're going to get +2 science in every city, which means we don't quite have to build as many campuses as we would otherwise normally need to. That's the beautiful thing about this particular tourism strategy. I can just plug this in anywhere. I'll plug it in right there. I don't really have a really big army. And now I'm going to grab myself an extra 20 or so science. Beautiful. Why, yes, we got a stone tablet from myself, my own civilization. Excellent. I'm really glad that we're starting to fill these up. I will be able to move these around and theme them up hopefully soon once I have enough. Right now I still can't move some of these because they're locked in, but I think, actually this was something I wanted to show you guys earlier, but these sculptures, you'll see here, this very first sculpture by Donatello is earning us 3 culture and 2 tourism. The second one is earning 1 and 1, and the third one is earning 1 and 1. That's because the same kind of great work made by the same guy actually generates less tourism and culture if it's in the same place as another one of those great works. So if we just swap these guys, I'm actually going to end up where this is now generating 3 and 2, and this is still generating 3 and 2. So just even though I can't theme my museums, moving them around actually nets you benefits that you otherwise wouldn't get. And for even further benefits, I might, for example, move this sculpture out because now I have 2 sculptures in here earning 3 and 2. And then I have this great work earning 3 and 2, whereas previously, because all of these were made by the same guy, they were making 1 and 1. And so I can kind of shuffle my stuff around. These ones aren't quite ready to move, but you can shuffle your stuff around even if you're not theming them to get a little bit of a bonus. That's a really important thing to do because in the long run, it does actually represent a decent amount of culture and tourism. Apparently the game thinks I will win in 51 turns. I will dispute that number, but we are getting closer to our win condition. I would say that we're entering into the early late game, and we're getting to a point now where we're going to start generating so much tourism that enemy players are actually going to have trouble holding back the onslaught of our tourism. A +6 faith colossal head. That's a thing of beauty. That will be generating me 6 tourism once I research flight. That is so beautiful. I love it when I have city-states in my game that support my win condition. The other really nice thing is too, we actually do have uses for faith. We can make national parks with it. We can buy great people. For example, I would love to buy Gustav Eiffel because I'm getting to the point where I'm going to want to build the Eiffel Tower and the Crystal Redentor. This guy generates an awful lot of production towards those things. This is something I love about this game. It's turn 186 and I'm exploring Alexander's lands with a goddamn slinger. Let's do it some justice and maybe upgrade it to a field cannon. No, actually, I changed my mind. It's more fun to just explore with the slinger. We just unlocked the Cristo Redentor, which is a really, really important cultural wonder if you're going for a culture victory, because this actually gets rid of the penalty from the Enlightenment civic. Normally, religious tourism pressure, which comes from things like relics and religious works of art, is reduced by 50% when you unlock the Enlightenment civic. By getting the Cristo Redentor, we can completely eliminate that penalty and therefore generate more tourism pressure against our enemies, which is fantastic. That's why this is one of my favorite wonders in the game. I'm going to plop it right here, right beside this theater square. But we are going to very quickly finish the Hermitage because it's only 1 turn away. And the nice thing about the Hermitage is it will give me extra great work slots in my capital, which will be boosted by Pingala, who gives 100% tourism from great works of art. So by doing this, I'm able to make my great works work harder for me. It's a really, really nice thing to get extra great work slots in your capital where you're keeping Pingala. Also, this city is just absolutely huge. I'm going to need to build another Mbanza soon to keep this population growing, because the plan is to essentially fill this city with Mbanzas and just make an absolutely outrageously huge capital city. Hey, we actually picked up a whole bunch of great people this turn. I got the guy who gives me toys, which is a unique luxury resource. I also managed to grab myself another great musician who I don't really have a use for right now, but I will soon. And I also managed to grab myself another great artist. I'll probably have to find somewhere to plug him down. Lovely, lovely, lovely. We managed to grab the Hermitage. Most importantly, what this means is I can, if I want to, plug in a whole bunch of these nice sculptures into my city, which will there's something unique about sculptures, even though we talked about the special rules of sculptures, when they're in a non-themable building like a museum or the palace, and it's not the non-themable part, it's the fact that they are unique sort of buildings, they don't actually suffer the duplicate great work penalty that they normally do. So for example, if I take these two great works of art made by Donatello, this one and this one, St. Mark and the Judith, and I plug those into this art museum up here, you'll see that one of them actually gets a penalty. It's only 1-1. But if I put both of them in here, neither of them get the penalty. That's another big advantage of having something like the Hermitage. And let us begin work on the Cristo Redentor. That's going to give us a nice boost to our cultural output. I could purchase Gustave Eiffel for a whole bunch of faith right now, but I'm actually working industrial projects in Kinshasa, so I'm not in a rush. I'm going to let a few more of these complete because I don't think the AI is going to snap him up too quickly. I might complete 1 or 2 more projects just to make him that little bit cheaper, because I don't really have a whole lot of ways to get a huge amount of faith in this game. So my faith is kind of precious, and faith is really, really important for any cultural or tourism game. I actually forgot that I placed the Mont Saint Michel. I'm kind of baffled that I actually managed to get it, in particular because I'm the Congo and I can't really make apostles at will. But I guess now I have a way to generate relics, even though I have no way to build temples, which is where you normally store relics. I kind of built it for fun, and I never expected it to actually finish, but I did finish it. So this is kind of like, what the hell is going on here? If you look down here, if I have open borders and trade routes with people, I actually get a bonus to tourism. That's why the cultural victory is actually a bit of a diplomatic victory in a kind of way, because you have to be diplomatic and make friends with everyone in the map. I guess I haven't given you guys an update on Kinshasa. Look at this crazy amount of production I'm making in here. 44 production per turn in here in a desert city. It is a desert city with Petra and a whole bunch of desert hills, but god damn, man, look at this city. Oh man, look at this city. My city is amazing. Not again. Why? Stop. Please. Oh my god. Please stop having dust storms right here outside Kinshasa. Time to plop down another national park. This is not quite as good a national park as the other one, but I don't really have a whole lot of places to put national parks in my empire, so I figured I may as well just throw a couple down and get the benefit from them. It's also just about time that we go ahead and purchase Gustave Eiffel. I have ran another couple of industrial zone projects, but I'm a little bit worried if I leave it any later, I won't be able to get him when I need him. And we're going to use him to accelerate the production of the Cristo Redentor and the Eiffel Tower. God damn it, why did you have to blow through this city again? How many times do I have to repair this? I already lost this lumber mill to this goddamn dust storm, and now it's killing my farms and my commercial hub. For the love of God. I just wanted to take a moment to point out that I am making 107 culture per turn from my capital city. That is an absolutely ridiculous amount of culture to be making in a single city. It's like, I don't think I've ever seen a culture per turn that high in one of my games without me actually trying. I haven't been trying to maximize culture in here. Just goes to show you the power of great works as the Congo and the power of the Chicken Pizza Wonder. Excellent. We just upgraded Reina with the ability to purchase districts, which is going to be handy if we need to purchase certain things. For example, I could skip the building of this theater square. I think I am about halfway through it, so I'm going to build it anyway. But, you know, if I need to skip that kind of thing, I can. Maybe I could settle an extra city and purchase a theater square in there. Actually, I kind of like that idea. You know what we're going to do? We're going to purchase a settler right up here, plop one down here so we have an extra theater square, which will serve as a place for more great works. Because even though I am producing a lot of room for great works, I'm using them up almost as fast as I create them. Let's go ahead and plop one builder charge of Gustav Eiffel into the Cristo Redentor to speed it up just a little bit, shave about half the turns that are left off. Very nice. We've only got about 6 turns left in the Cristo Redentor. I will hard build that and then get to work on the Eiffel Tower. I'm probably going to place the Eiffel Tower right here, which will boost both of these. Amazingly, considering how many theater squares I've built, I'm only getting a theater square with a +3 adjacency right now, at least when it was first constructed. Because if you increase an adjacency bonus, which I'm pretty sure I have a higher adjacency bonus right here, it doesn't actually count unless it's the adjacency bonus when you built it. Yeah, it's kind of a bit of a weird thing. I've built so many this game, but I just never really got a high adjacency. Theater squares can be a hard thing to get adjacency for because they only really get adjacency from wonders and other districts. There we go. We have unlocked steel, which gives us access to the all-important Eiffel Tower, which is going to make all of our tiles have much more appeal, which means it's much easier to build national parks, which will give us a whole bunch of tourism. We'll also get an extra boost to our lumber mills, which is really damn nice. I'm very happy about that. Look at these very tasty lumber mills. 2 food, 5 production, 2 culture, and 1 science. This is a damn fine city. It's nearly got 100 production per turn, which is a crazy amount of production. Why, yes, I would like to get free money by adding a proposal that I was ravaged by a natural disaster. Please, send me your money. Now that we've unlocked steel, it's about time that we worked our way up towards flight, because flight is what's going to enable the Leventa Colossal Head to actually give us tourism. And I've actually been pre-placing a whole bunch of those around. You can see them right here. So we've already got a bunch of things in place ready for when we get flight, so they get a huge boost to our tourism per turn. There's also a really important technology up here that we need to get, which is computers. It also gives you 25% tourism across your entire empire, which further then gets multiplied by bonuses you have to outgoing pressure to individual AI. So this is a really powerful bonus. Now that we've settled our new city of Nakunga, I'm going to go ahead and grab Reina, slap her down in Nakunga so we can start buying districts in here. I think I'm also going to set up another national park right here, and I'll use this builder to get that started. Why, yes, I would like to receive an aid request, a city-state emergency as well. I'm not sure if I want to do anything about this. I might just vote it up once to see if people want to do it, but I'll just only put 1 vote in and then I might not really do anything. Okay, it looks like it actually passed. Jadwiga, Tamar, and myself all voted for it, so I might actually want to see. And apparently I gained a relic somehow. I'm not really sure how I gained that. I guess I have room now in Mont Saint Michel because I discovered a new thingy, what do you call those things? A new national wonder while I'm suzerain of Candy. So I don't actually know what I'm supposed to do in the city-state emergency. Okay, so it looks like we've got to liberate Preslav. I'm trying to think of how I could help do that. I guess what I'm going to do is gather up my meager military of the 2 melee units and the archer, and then slap into my build as well a bombard to help them out, get these guys upgraded into musketmen and field cannons, and then see if I can push over to Preslav and help them out and liberate this city-state and pick up this very nice bonus over here with the target trade routes, the city-state gain +2 gold per turn, as well as, the +1 gold per turn for each of their envoys in a city-state. This can actually snowball pretty nicely to get you a lot of gold in the game, as well as the 100 diplomatic favor, which is in of itself just worth gold trading with the AI. This is a pretty decent deal. A lot of the other AIs are only giving me like 50 gold per 100 diplomatic favor, but I'll definitely take 97 gold for 100 diplomatic favor to keep my economy strong, because some of the deals that I've made are actually starting to run out, so I'm not quite making as much from deals, so I really need to start making more. Ideally, I would have been selling off all these strategic resources, but I'm a little bit lazy, so I haven't been doing that. Please don't cut me to pieces in the comments for being lazy, okay? Jesus Christ. It's only a few gold per turn. Hey, Georgia is going to go ahead and give me a gift because I have an active aid request targeting me. And in fact, a lot of the AI are going to start giving me gifts, which is really, really nice because I can use that gold to accelerate my empire and hopefully win a little bit sooner than I would otherwise have won. Especially when you consider that I've already got 51 of 165 tourists right now. That's a pretty good number. And once I start targeting Alexander with some late game rock bands, this number will arguably get a little bit lower. It'll probably get bigger before it gets lower, but I am making my way in the direction of winning the game. I've got 300 tourism per turn. It's only turn 202. I'm hoping that I can win or somewhere between turn 230 and turn 250. If I could pull that off, I would be really, really happy. I think it's about time that we picked up democracy. Now, communism could be really, really powerful with our particular civilization. However, I feel like democracy just works better for when you're going for any kind of tourism victory. I mean, there is an argument to be made for communism, but I think just the fact that democracy has 3 economic cards, 2 diplomatic and 2 wild cards are just better for the kind of cards that you want to slot in, things that give you tourism bonuses, things that give you production bonus towards builders and all that sort of stuff. I feel like democracy, just purely based on the cards that it gives you, works better for any sort of tourism victory. Let's go ahead and upgrade our Ngao Mbebes to musketmen. Oh, I need more niter. Whoops. I guess I'll have to get a little bit more. I'll be able to have it by the time we get over towards Preslav. I think this should be enough to take the city, considering it doesn't have walls and I'll have some support in the form of Georgia during this emergency. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to pull this off without any issues. Awesome, we managed to grab ourselves the Cristo Redentor. That's going to make our seaside resorts a lot more powerful, as well as generally generating us quite a bit more tourism. We're currently up to 53 out of 165. We should see this number start climbing up as we gain more and more tourism. Let's begin the work on the Eiffel Tower. I will have to give up a very nice wheat tile, but this is such a good spot for boosting both of these theater squares that I kind of feel like I have to take it. We are, of course, going to be using Gustav Eiffel to speed this up because we need to get it as soon as possible. If we just quickly check here, we are, in fact, the only person building it based on what I can see on the map, because you can search for a wonder and find out if anyone else is building it. So I'm not under a huge amount of pressure to get it, but this is basically the last wonder that I really need to make sure that my national parks are really good. So I'll be more than happy to rush this out using Gustav Eiffel. We finally found Alexander's capital of Pella, which now has plenty of gold for us to steal, so we will send our spy over there to start grabbing that. I do need to build more spies, but it's kind of like a matter of trying to find the time to actually get a spy out when I'm trying to build so many different things. I actually think a spy might be worth more than a bank in this city, and it'll take about the same amount of time, so I'll grab the spy instead of the bank. We'll drop another charge of Gustav Eiffel into the Eiffel Tower, and there we have it. It's only 6 turns away from being completed. Let's go ahead and pop an art museum here into Kinshasa. I will, of course, be purchasing it because I have an artist. And really, I know that the archaeological museums are better, but I may as well make use of all the great artists that I get because they start generating me tourism right now. And there's not an extra investment of actually having to build an archaeologist on top of that. Yes, it technically would be better to have just every city filled with artifacts, but that's not really too turbo feasible when you're when there's a limited amount of artifacts on the map, right? So I kind of have to do a little bit of great artwork stuff. The city-state emergency with the Netherlands is over, and we emerge triumphant. Well, I guess somebody else did the thing, so upgrading my army was kind of pointless. I mean, I guess I have a better army now. But yeah, it looks like the AI pulled it off, so I guess that worked out perfectly in my favor without me having to do a single thing. And we get a whole bunch of new stuff. In particular, we researched some new technology in the form of cartography, which gives us extra gold from our fishing boats. And we're 1 turn away from getting democracy. There we have democracy. So now we have advantage of getting many, many extra cards, and our government will be heavily focused around economics, which is fantastic. We're going to go ahead and kind of just pull everything out of this government while we try to construct a new one. This is the government I have decided to go with for the near future. This will be getting changed as we unlock new late game policy cards. We're going to be going for military research to get the extra science from Renaissance walls, New Deal for housing and amenities, Public Works for extra builder charges, Grand Opera for extra culture, Visva Banking to make our trade routes better, Triangular Trade to make our trade routes better, Machiavellianism to make our spies better, and logistics just to kind of move our builders around our empire. It kind of works with Public Works. It'll probably be one of the first ones to go when the time comes to swap these out. There are two key things I need to pick up as soon as possible now that we have suffrage. You can justify getting these earlier, but that's only if you go for Merchant Republic instead of Divine Right as your government, or monarchy as your government. Since I went with monarchy as my government, I skipped both cultural heritage and capitalism, which I'm now going to pick those up because these are good sources of tourism. For example, heritage tourism makes your great works of art and artifacts give you 100% more tourism, as well as unlocking more shipwreck potential artifact sites, and the Sydney Opera House, which gives you room for more great works of music. Additionally, we've also got over here the shopping mall that gives you +4 tourism in all of your neighborhood districts. It only applies to one of your neighborhood districts in a city, but this is essentially another +4 tourism. We have a whole bunch of gold. Now that we have democracy, we can start purchasing these. With the Congo, we have mbanzas everywhere, so this is just all going to work together to start skyrocketing our tourism income now that we've hit the late game. Over here in Nkunga, we are going to purchase a harbour first, and then I would like to purchase a theatre square. I have to wait a little bit because they're kind of expensive right now, but they will be something that I pick up in the near future. Looks like my deliciously overpowered strategy of spamming as many artifacts, great people, and national parks as possible has netted me another golden age, a glorious day for the Congolese Empire. We still don't really have anything that really impacts how much tourism we get, but I'm going to go ahead and take Reform the Coinage just because it's a whole bunch of extra gold that we can get, and we do have quite a few trade routes, and I'm intending to get more. I am looking for the best gold deals right now on a lot of these. I am trying to make sure that I trade with everyone so that I get those nice culture boosts with regards to tourism multipliers, but I'm okay with just getting gold as well. Ooh, tourism from great works of this type is doubled. I'm going to put every single point that I have into this because I really need artifacts to pass. If I get artifacts to pass, that would be so goddamn incredible. And who could not vote in favor of the World's Fair? For sure. I have a good feeling about me winning that, and I might even just have to work a couple of projects to get that one. Awesome. So it looks like we did manage to pass the artifact one, and it also looks like we managed to pass the diplomatic victory. I actually voted for Alexander. In fact, we all voted for Alexander. Oh, they voted for him to lose points. Excellent. I voted for him to gain points, so I guess I kind of get my points back on that one. We've also got the World's Fair here, which is cool. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to win the World's Fair without too much trouble because we generate an awful lot of great people points every turn. We'll check in on this every now and again just to double check. Also, it's probably about time that I made peace with Wilhelmina. I have to wait 2 more turns because the emergency was only a few turns ago. But yeah, other than that, things are coming along nicely. I did just get more room for great works of writings in a few different places, so this is an excellent time to get a great writer. I have a bunch of great musicians sitting around just kind of waiting for something to do. Let's go ahead and grab ourselves a theatre square over here in Nkunga, as well as grabbing a fresh naturalist. I'm also going to go ahead and swing in here and buy a lighthouse for the extra trade route that I'll plant down in the capital. This is the great thing about Reina and having a lot of gold gain, is you can do a lot of retooling of your empire on the fly with your gold and just generally get your things developed really, really quickly. We managed to grab ourselves the delightfully overpowered Eiffel Tower. Now, if we remember, back over here in this national park, I believe it was making 16 tourism per turn, and now it is making 24 tourism per turn. That is the advantage of getting the appeal in your empire nice and high. So, for example, I think one of these over here, I think was only making like 11, and now it's making 25 tourism per turn. I have planted a couple of extra forests and placed like an entertainment district, which also gives appeal. So yes, this base is a little bit higher, but essentially every single national park in my empire, just from building the Eiffel Tower, got +8 tourism per turn. And I think I'm actually up around the 400 tourism mark right about now, which is a pretty damn good amount considering we're technically, according to the game, 43 turns away from winning. I think we might be able to bring that down a little bit quicker if we can get some more tourism rolling. I'm going to go ahead and try to grab Broadway here because it has a really nice advantage of giving me an extra 20% culture in this city. I already have a huge culture multiplier in this city and a huge base amount of culture. So if I can grab Broadway, it'll be a huge boon to the amount of tourism I can get in here. But I would really like another Mbanza. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it in over here, get it done 1 turn, and then build Broadway over here on this tile to give me a massive amount of population and culture per turn in my capital. Let's get this national park up. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I believe this national park will give us a delightful 28 tourism per turn. My tourism per turn is just climbing every single turn that goes by, and it won't stop, and it can't stop until I say so. Gonna go ahead and make peace with the Netherlands. 400 gold is a pretty reasonable amount of gold in order to just not have to worry about getting attacked by them. So I'm more than happy to make that happen. Unfortunately, Alexander built the Broadway Wonder, which kind of sucks. I really should have searched for that. I don't think anyone is building the Bolshoi Theatre, are they? No, as far as I can tell, nobody's building the Bolshoi Theatre, but it actually is a pretty bad thing that Alexander built Broadway, because it means he's going to get more culture, and culture is the thing you use to defend yourself when someone is going for a tourism victory. Now, earlier on, Alexander was like my public enemy number 1, and he still kind of is, but right now Tamar is actually the one with the most culture gain across all of the civilizations that are not me. So it means I might want to be careful about how I let Tamar continue, and might want to start targeting her for tourism pressure. Just managed to theme my very first museum, which has unlocked cultural heritage for me. Look at this absolutely ridiculous amount of yields that you're getting from this. 12, 12, 24, 18, 27, and it's not even at its final form, because now I should be able to, in theory, plug in this heritage tourism card and get even more tourism from this. It's up to 36 tourism from a single archaeological museum on top of all the other stuff that it makes me. It's absolute insanity. And not only that, but now my archaeologists have much more choices. There's a lot of shipwrecks around that I might be able to pick up. There's a couple up here and around and stuff like that. I'm still trying to get some of the ones from the other AI because I kind of want to steal them if I can, because there's only a limited amount of these artifacts on the map. And it looks like they've got a bunch of them over here in Poland. I might go ahead and grab myself another archaeologist in one of my cities to go grab those. More gifts from the AI. Thank you very, very much. Not only that, but we managed to get one of our apostles killed and grabbed another relic. So now Mont Saint Michel has 2 delightful little relics sitting in there, providing me with food, production, gold, faith, and tourism. And that faith will be used quite heavily in the late game to make rock bands. Time to pick up the National History Museum, which is great because it has +4 great work slots of any type, which allows us to plug in any great works that we want in here. In particular, we'll probably be plugging in great works of music, because those are the things that I have the hardest time finding room for. The world's first expedition in marine archaeology produces the amphora and shows the sea cannot hide the secrets of history any longer. Excellent. We got some error score from that. That's a great thing. I'm going to go ahead and take a Leventa one. I think I'm going to take a moment here and see if I can go through and start theming some of these museums. Just picked up Capitalism, and we stole a whole bunch of money from Alexander. I'm not sure where all of this gold is coming from. I think the AI are running projects for the aid request, which is meaning that I'm ending up with like ridiculous amounts of gold, which works out perfectly fine for me, because I'm just going to go through and start buying shopping malls, which are going to give me gold and tourism. Awesome. I went through and bought a shopping mall everywhere that I possibly could, and I also went through and made sure I was either building Mbanzas everywhere that I didn't already have one, so that I could get shopping malls. Currently up to about 600 tourism per turn base without any multipliers. Don't forget, every time we're sending tourism to another player, they're getting multiplied by trade routes, open borders, as well as any late game multipliers, for example, like computers and ecology. What is it called? Environmentalism, that's it. Now that we do have capitalism and cultural heritage, our next big pickup is over here at Space Race, which is going to give us plus 200% tourism from great works of music. The follow-up to that is going to be picking up environmentalism, and then the next big one is online communities, social media. I think it goes Space Race into social media, into environmentalism. That's like the most efficient way to get through the late game cultural policy tree. There's also a couple of nice things along the way. For example, we'll be able to get some ski resorts to make use of those mountains to get tourism from them. We'll also soon have rock bands, but we won't be using rock bands yet. Rock bands are kind of turbo late game in my opinion, and you don't want to use them early. You want to be careful about that. Unless you're really, really close to already winning, you don't want to use them. I am going to get a friendship with Georgia, but I'm not going to renew the cultural alliance, because if I renew the cultural alliance with Georgia, I'm going to start giving them enough culture to actually start competing with my culture, my tourism victory, which will make it harder for me to actually win the game, because she's already making quite a lot. I probably could get away with making an alliance with her one more time for the diplomatic favor, but I'm already making so much diplomatic favor that I don't think it really matters. Time to reassign Reina over to Nakondo, because that's where I want to buy my next theater square. I popped in here and I bought myself another water park, because that'll generate me a little bit of extra tourism, and I went and purchased the Mbanza here as well with a shopping mall. So this city is now generating a fairly good amount of tourism if we check in here. It's +9 here, +4 here, and +2 over here. That's a pretty good amount considering this city didn't actually build walls. If we consider that this one is +6, no, where's a better example? This is a better example over here. You know, we've got a city over here producing +6, Theatre Square making 8, and a Banza making 4, and a Wonder making 7. So, you know, tourism is starting to fill up in my empire, but just wait until I get into the very late game. Once I have flight, things are going to change dramatically. I'm going to be purchasing like about 20 or 30 builders and essentially converting my entire terrain into colossal heads. Finally, I'm able to get a trade route with the Netherlands. It's actually a pretty big deal that I haven't been able to trade with them. You can see here, because I haven't been trading with the Netherlands or Alexander, I have much lower tourist counts compared to other civilizations. And that's definitely hurting how fast that I can win the game. So I really need to start seeing if I can get a trade route with Alexander. And I already have one with Wilhelmina, but I need to see if I can also get open borders with Alexander, because I just lost it with him. Maybe another friendship and all that sort of jazz. It's important to keep these things online when you're trying to win. We are reasonably close to winning, I would say. I would say we're close-ish to halfway. Now, it doesn't look like it because it says we're 78 out of 186 and we're 81 turns away. But we're picking up a lot of our really strong late-game tourism boosts very soon. So I think we're actually a lot closer to winning than it looks like by the numbers. Finally managed to theme a second museum, netting me another 12, 12, 24, 18, 36. Probably will be able to theme one or two more museums. I have a couple of archaeologists out there. I'm kind of starting now to reach the limit of what I can generate from great works. I'm going to have to start relying on multipliers. You've got to be kidding me. I just unlocked industrialization and I don't have a single copy of coal in my entire empire. Like, I just searched for coal and there's none inside my borders. Like, look how huge my empire is and I got 0 coal. There's plenty like on the edge of my empire, like right over here, and there's one even right here. In fact, this one is so close that I'm actually going to go ahead and purchase a settler to get that one, because it's so important for me to be able to purchase factories to be able to power my buildings and stuff like that in the late game to get extra yields. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and purchase ourselves a factory and a coal plant. Even if we can't run the coal plant right now, we will be able to soon once we capture these two coal mines. Quila over here is my most productive coastal city, so I'm going to make the attempt to build the Sydney Opera House. It's a very slow build, but I'm thinking I could maybe retool the terrain of Quila to be a little bit more productive if I got rid of these pastures, for example. I think we could do a great job, and we could do some tile swapping and all that sort of jazz just to make sure that the city has the production to get the Sydney Opera House in a reasonable amount of time. Another shopping mall for my collection in Bukavu. We're up to 629 base tourism per turn. We are only a few turns away from flight, and the really important thing here is that flight will allow us to generate tourism from these colossal heads. So what I'm going to do is go through my entire empire and basically buy a builder in every single city, and we're going to start completely overhauling everything. Basically every improvement is going to get ripped up, with the exception of Quila, which is going to get a whole bunch of production improvements so that I can build the Sydney Opera House faster. But everything you see here is going to get ripped up to place in these colossal heads, which are going to start generating us tourism once we have flight. We have spent all of our gold and we have a builder in basically every city in the empire. And what we're going to want to do is try to build like a forest/colossal head crystal-like structure where each colossal head is touched by at least 2 forests and fill the entire terrain with just woods and colossal heads, with the exception of things like strategic resources, ivory resources, maybe some of these really nice tiles that I'm getting boosted from Chichen Itza might be preserved, but almost everything you see here will either be a lumber mill or a colossal head. I think I might make an exception for the Petra City just because Petra Cities are cooler than the colossal heads. We just grabbed Cold War. Now, we can build rock bands, but we don't want to. And it's for a very important reason. It's because beyond near future governance, there are these future era civics that allow us, one of them in here has a card that allows us to pick from any promotion on our rock bands. And that's really important because rock bands aren't very good unless you get to specifically pick a particular promotion on them. Just finished the Bolshoi Theatre. That is brilliant. The Bolshoi Theatre does, I believe, allow me to store more great works in it. And we've also unlocked a whole bunch of other stuff thanks to it. Most importantly, if I swing over here to the Bolshoi Theatre, I'll be able to put a great work of writing in there, as well as a great work of music from one of my musicians. And I've been a long time waiting for the ability to place those great works in there. This is an incredibly important great merchant to pick up. I'm actually glad that I caught this. I haven't been checking the screen for a little bit because I know it's only when you get up to the modern era and a little bit later that some of the great merchants start mattering for a culture victory. But this guy is actually so important that I'm going to purchase him because a 25% boost to the ability to generate tourism against other civilizations is massive. It is a ridiculous amount. That's why Sarah Breedlove is one of the top great merchants you're going to want to get if you're going for a tourism victory. It might be hard to tell the difference, but if you're seeing faith symbols, that means I have changed things. We're still working on it, but we're going to be slowly converting this entire terrain to colossal heads and woods. You can see here, after I got that really, really nice great merchant, I'm getting plus 50% for a trade route instead of plus 25. That is a huge increase in the amount of tourism pressure that we're getting against other civilizations. And the game is already telling me that I'm going to win in 38 turns, but I feel like we're going to win a lot sooner than that. Still getting nice free gifts from the AI, which feels really good. And she keeps asking me for a cultural alliance. Actually, so does Macedon. But I'm really, really, really not in the mood to give other players cultural alliances, which might help them earn culture, which is the thing that will defend them. I'm not going to tell Poland that I will keep my archaeologists out of her land. I have been pretty much running through my archaeologists, stealing every artifact she has. A bit of a moderate flood there. That's kind of actually... Why is it like the one turn that I decided to talk to you guys that this huge flood rolls through and completely obliterates this entire city to the point where now I'm going to have to build a dam in here just to mitigate that from ever happening again. With the unlock of flight, we unlock the true potential of the Colossal Head. Let's go ahead and look at the tourism tab. Basically, every possible tile in my empire is now generating tourism, and I'm not even remotely finished. I can place yet more Colossal Heads. Each one of these is generating a crazy amount of faith, which I can use to make rock bands, and tourism, which directly wins me the game. That's why Colossal Heads are so damn good. When you're going for any sort of tourism victory, they are ridiculously powerful, and I'm so glad that I ran into and managed to grab them. Finishing flight means that we are going to want to go ahead and swing up here for computers, which is basically the last technology in the tech tree after radio that we really care about, because this one gives us the plus 25% tourism across our entire empire. Now, I'm pretty sure there is like the seaside resort thing, the what is it called? The thing that you put in the ocean that gives you housing? The seastead. The seastead gives you tourism as well, but that comes so late into the game and it takes an awful lot of science to get it, that essentially once you get computers, you are done with the tech tree and nothing else really matters. You're just kind of picking up things for the sake of it at that point. Once we have computers, we'll be getting a 25% boost on our tourism, which should push us up to around the 1100 mark-ish. And once you're hitting about 1100, you're pretty much on track to win the game fairly quickly. I know it says 110 turns here, but you know, it'll be faster than that. I can guarantee it. Getting coal online is pretty damn nice because now I'm actually starting to generate power in my city. I also unlocked Space Race, which allows me to plug in the card satellite broadcasts, which means I will get triple tourism from my satellite broadcast. You get triple tourism from your great works of music with this card. 200% means triple, 100% means double. So this is a really, really powerful card, and it's going to go ahead and replace Triangular Trade. The science card that was giving us science from the Renaissance walls is gone now, so I'm just going to plug in logistics so I can move my builders around a little bit easier. There's not really many of these cards that super matter when it comes to tourism, but you know, logistics can be one that is helpful, as can Levy en Masse, because it saves you a little bit of money from your army. If you have an army, I don't really have an army, so this doesn't represent much value to me. I would much rather if I could just move my builders around faster and then be able to change the terrain of my empire faster. Speaking of the terrain of my empire, it might be a little bit hard to see, but you can see that we are starting to fill up with an awful lot of these colossal heads. And I want to briefly talk about how I'm doing this and how I'm making the decisions. Basically, every time I move a builder to a new tile, I hover over the colossal head, and then I count the number of adjacent colossal heads. If the number on the amount of faith that I would get from the colossal head is bigger than the number of adjacent colossal heads, then I build another colossal head. Because if you have a colossal head beside a forest or a jungle, it gets +1. So that seems like that's a pretty logical view to take things, and then I can just have a lumber mill here. So in this case, this would, if I were to chop this jungle and place a colossal head, I would get +3 faith. But by having this jungle here, I'm getting +4 faith because there are 4 adjacent colossal heads. So it's actually better. I get the same amount of faith or more by keeping this as a jungle, and I get the advantage of being able to put a lumber mill on it. So that's like the big advantage of doing this sort of counting and doing just a little bit of tile mathematics and figuring out the most efficient way to do things. I'm pretty sure that, you know, this is just like an outrage. I actually have never really used colossal heads much at all, but the amount of tourism that I'm getting from them is starting to actually make me really respect them as a tile improvement. In Congo, the expression spend the afternoon Mbanza Congo means to have a wonderful time. Just finished our very, very first stadium in my empire. We did, of course, only just unlock professional sports, which gives us access to some pretty nice things. I would like to get the Estadio de Maracana because it's a pretty good one. I'm wondering if I might be able to build it in my capital. It looks like I will be able to build it in my capital. I'll have to give up some stuff, but it is worth 2 amenities in my entire empire, so that seems pretty damn good. I'm going to go ahead and pick up another Mbanza in here because this city is starting to run up against its growth limit again. Man, this capital city is absolutely gargantuan. The nice thing about stadiums is they do actually produce some extra tourism. I've also been saving up as much of my gold as I can in order to be able to purchase a whole bunch of broadcast centers when the time comes. We're only about 3 turns away. I'm hoping to be able to purchase them in basically every city, and then I'll be able to justify much more usage of my great musician points, because I've basically had a handful of great musicians kind of just hanging around for a very long time. So it's about time that we gave them something to do that is useful. I did just make a few great works of music into my National History Museum, and that's pretty good, but I'd much rather to keep those in some kind of a, you know, the broadcast center, and that way I could maybe fill it up with some extra relics because I have the Cristo Redentor, so I don't suffer any religious tourism penalties. That's much more like it. 17 turns until victory. That just goes to show really how much tourism all this stuff is worth. And we don't even have our tourism multipliers fully online yet. We don't have online communities for the 50% production are the tourism output to civilizations that I have a trade route with. I don't even have environmentalism. I don't even have computers. We are ridiculously powerful in terms of tourism right now, and it's about to get absolutely ridiculous turbo. I've run out of words to even express how much tourism we are going to be making per turn once we get all that stuff online. Like, I can't even see my goddamn empire. That's like how many tiles are generating tourism pressure for me right now. Yes, of course. I've always wanted to go, do some skiing in the desert by Petra. Time to renew all of our alliances with the AI. I'm going to go ahead and get an economic alliance with Poland, a religious alliance with Scythia, a research alliance with the Incas, and finally, a military alliance with the Macedonians. Those are the only alliances that I want to get. I don't want to have a cultural alliance. Yes, there are, like if you get a late game cultural alliance, you can get a whole bunch of tourism and culture from it. However, I would also give tourism and culture to other people, which would actually make it harder for me to win the game. And I don't want to do that because I am the top culture guy. So if I start giving people a portion of my culture, I'm just making everyone else stronger. We now have access to the broadcast center, and it is time to start purchasing. 1 for Mpinda, 1 for Pagavu, 1 for Mbumbi, Mbanza Nasudi, Kwango, Sanga, Mbanza Wembo, Nakondo, Nakunga, and finally Mbanza Congo. That's basically all of the ones that were ready to be purchased, and we didn't even spend all of our gold. So what we can do now is we can start moving around all of these wonderful, wonderful great works of music, get the full benefit from them without having to keep them in a highly competitive place, the National History Museum. And then we can even, if we wanted some extra relics, we could go ahead and just start throwing some of these apostles that I have sitting around, get them killed in order to get some more relics. That seems like a pretty damn good use of them to me, to be able to get that extra tourism, the extra gold, the extra food, the extra faith, and the extra tourism from those. Look at the amount of tourism that we are getting from these. Good God. I chopped down this tile with the expectation to put a colossal head on it, and then this turn I discovered that there's aluminum on it, which kind of defeats the purpose of having chopped it down in the first place. I mean, I guess I'll put an aluminum mine there, but it really wasn't what I was going for. Finally, dude, it took me so long to be able to get a trade route to reach Alexander, but this is going to be huge because one of the most important things that you want to do when you're going for a tourism victory is to figure out who is your target that is making the most defensive tourists and then target them to put most of your tourism pressure on them. That's why when we get into the super late game, we're going to be making use of all of our rock bands with all this fate that we're generating from these wonderful, wonderful colossal heads, and we're going to take all of those rock bands and throw them directly at Alexander so that we can maybe cut down on the number of domestic tourists he has, increase the number of visiting tourists that we have, which means we'll need less visiting tourists, which means it's easier to win the game, which means we'll win the game faster. We're already on track to win the game pretty fast. The game is kind of swinging between whether or not it'll take me 10 turns or like 40 turns. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in between those, but we'll get a better read on things in about 5 to 10 turns. Online communities is the late game power card. This is one of the most powerful and important cards that you are going to get access to in your entire game. We're basically finished retooling our entire empire towards colossal heads, so we can finally take out public works. We don't really need any more builders, and that makes plenty of room to slot in online communities while also keeping Grand Opera and New Deal active with satellite broadcasts and heritage tourism. This 50% is such a huge deal that I'm not even sure how to really describe it, because right now I'm getting a 100% modifier to my tourism pressure against AI players. What that means is, if I have a trade route with the AI and I generate 1,000 tourism against them, I'm now getting 2,000 tourism, because how tourism works is that it's applied to each player individually. So essentially getting a 50% multiplier against each civ in the game is actually more like getting 7 times, like a 350% multiplier on this number, right? It's a crazy amount of actual sort of game impact in terms of numbers. The most powerful part of it, though, is that this plus 25 tourism across your empire applies to your base tourism. So if I'm making 1,000 tourism and I have a 100% modifier towards tourism against a civilization, I'll be making 2,000 tourism against that specific civilization. But if I have 1,000 tourism and I get environmentalism, which gives me plus 25% tourism across my entire empire, I'll be making 1,250 base tourism, and then individually against the AI, I'll be making 2,500. So that is just a crazy amount of extra tourism. And remember, that will apply to each civilization individually that I am trading with or that I have open borders with. And all these modifiers just stack together to get you some crazy amounts of tourism in the late game. Another alpine ski resort, please. Thank you so much. I think I'm just going to show you guys every time I make a ski resort, not because it's important, but just because you guys are going to question why. You're going to be like, why is he showing us the ski resorts? Aren't ski resorts not that big of a deal? Yes, you are correct. I'm showing you the ski resorts because I want you to ask the question, why am I showing you the ski resorts? What is the answer? That's up for you to decide. This is the very last artifact that I'm actually going to get my hands on, which means it's about time, now that we've filled out every single archaeological museum, it's time to start theming them properly. I usually like to wait until I have them all filled out to theme them. I'll kind of theme as I go. I've already got 2 themed, but I might be able to get to 1 or 2 more themed with all these artifacts that I managed to grab in this game. We are now up to 3 themed archaeological museums. I might be able to get 1 more. I would say if you can get 3 themed archaeological museums, you're doing really, really well. If you get more than that, you're doing incredibly well. Number 4, Archaeological Museum of Kongo is themed with classical artifacts. Mabanza Wembo's art museum has also been themed, netting us a little bit of extra tourism per turn. I probably could have done that one a long time ago. However, some of the great works of art I only just recently got that I've been able to plug all these together. That's why I don't usually worry too much about theming, is because oftentimes the bottlenecks come so late into the game that worrying about theming too much, I mean, I guess I could trade the AI for great works and all that sort of stuff, but I think worrying about it too much actually just distracts you away from what's important, which is of course your family and friends. Another ski resort. I also built one over here right now. Look at these beautiful ski resorts. And another ski resort. Look at this. Isn't that wonderful? No ski resorts over here, sadly. It's already a national park. Ooh, a ski resort right here. This is cute. I like this one. I like how it's like on the edge of the desert and it's also like on the edge of a city-state. Oh my god. I just want to take a moment to point out that we're making 1,337 tourism per turn. If you were born in the 90s or 80s and you were online, you know what this number means. This was like the classic original net speak right here. If you were elite hacksaw, you were a cool dude. Or at least you thought you were a cool dude. It became ironic after a while. Yes, why don't you go ahead and ski in the resort right beside the chateau on the Col. Is that even a chateau? What is that? Oh, it's an Alcazar. Last turn, the game told me I was 5 turns away from winning with 176 tourists. I kept this screen open and then I ended my turn by using my hotkeys. And now, if I refresh this screen, we're at 185 tourists out of 225. I just want to point out, I'm winning the game like incredibly quickly with the power of colossal heads, and I don't even have computers or environmentalism, and I never even had to touch a rock band. It's only turn 236. Yeah, sure, maybe in the last patch you could win a lot earlier and all that sort of stuff by spamming great works of writing, but this feels like a really solid win to me, like especially because I had so much fun placing all of these colossal heads. Just look at the amount of colossal heads and the amount of tourism that I'm getting from them. My entire empire is just little tourism bubbles. Ooh, I think this may or may not be my very final ski resort. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anywhere else I could place one. I think I've placed all of my ski resorts now, and they actually make a nice white color. Kind of like a little bit of a pattern or something. I don't know, it looks kind of a little bit like a face. Maybe this is the nose and this is the mouth down here. The Leventa is like the eye. I don't know, I can see it, maybe you can't. Computers. Developers. Plus 25% tourism, bringing us up to a tasty 1,684 tourism per turn. We're now 3 turns away from victory according to this. Don't forget, right, that 1,600 tourism per turn is getting multiplied by 125% because I've got open borders and trade routes giving me 125% multipliers against every civ in the game. Oh, it is a thing of beauty. Late game tourism gets pretty damn crazy. Last turn we had 197. Also, I won the World's Fair, by the way, so I get a diplomatic victory point and some great person points. More importantly here, I've got 197 tourists this turn, and the next turn I have 211. I must be 1 to 2 turns away from winning the game. And if you are 1 to 2 turns away from winning the game, do you know what you should do? Don't do anything, just press shift and enter and the turn will end, because at this point I've already won the game and any optimizations that I do are basically unnecessary. Of course the World Congress would pop up here when I'm a few turns from winning the game. I'm just going to select random stuff. Again, this doesn't matter, right? Because technically I have already won the game. I have already produced all of the things that I need to. However, I did just finish environmentalism, and now that I have 1,938 tourism per turn. Okay, I had 211 tourists last turn. This turn I have 225. The game is predicting that I win in 1 turn. And again, we just press shift and enter because we are generating so much tourism at this point that we are guaranteed to win. In, you know, a turn 240 win, I am perfectly happy with. I want to say, in the time before the June update, my average game, I would win in the region of, say, on average, somewhere around turn 270. So this is like 30 turns faster than I would normally win. So I feel like I've gotten much better at the game, or else I just got like a really lucky game. And I think the really big takeaway from this game is just how good these colossal heads are. I really never ever gave them the respect that they deserved. But if I needed to, like, generate even more tourism, I could have just made 1 million rock bands and thrown them at Alexander. And realistically, I probably should have done that because that would have actually won me the game a little bit sooner. Anyway, time to shift enter and end the game. I should win this turn, or might have to... There we go.
The worth of a culture is not measured by its accomplishments, but in how those accomplishments last.
Beautiful, wonderful, brilliant, excellent. Hopefully this has given you a good idea of not only the power of the Congo, but the power of Archaeologists in the Hands of the Kongo, and the Colossal Head tile improvement that La Venta gives you access to. I think that's my big thing from this game, is just how good they are. This was played on Deity. Hopefully you guys have learned a couple of things about how to manage the early game AI in diplomacy. Make sure you send gifts to whoever is your biggest enemy. I think the biggest mistake players make when they're playing on Deity is not properly looking after their diplomacy with the AI and letting them declare war on them early. If you can get the AI to just basically ignore you, you can pretty much out micro them and beat them at their own SimCity game. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know it was a little bit less memey and a little bit less silly, but I'm trying to sprinkle in a few different styles of video just to see what you guys like and what you guys like to see and whether or not you enjoyed this. This one was a little bit less entertainment and a little bit more information, so I'm trying to strike a bit of a balance here where I can not only teach you how to play the game better, but also provide it in a very short format. I will say one thing though. I am releasing less videos now because each of these individual videos take a lot longer to make. I want to say by the time I'm finished with this took about 10 hours to make by my estimation, when you consider recording, setting up, research. Like, I did a little bit of research on how to play this, and I also, I got to edit it, and I've got to upload it, and I've got to render it, and there's all this extra work that goes into these individual videos. So let me know if you prefer these much tighter, much smaller experiences compared to the ones where I would just show my raw gameplay, because it is a lot of extra work, but I think it's worth it to do because I think the videos are better, they're more entertaining, and they're more engaging, and they're more fun. Just for fun, let's take a quick peek at my culture, and you can see that my culture definitely ran away with me. That's it from me. I love you all very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.